Emma Baker stared at her phone, her hands trembling as she typed the desperate message. James, I hate to ask again, but I need $40 for Lily's formula. I get paid Friday, I swear I'll pay you back. She hit send before she could change her mind, then slumped against her threadbare couch, exhaustion washing over her. The baby monitor crackled with the soft sounds of her 6-month-old daughter's breathing. Emma had exactly $2. 13 in her checking account, no formula, and had already watered down the last bottle more than she should have. The text was humiliating, but her pride meant nothing compared to her daughter's hunger. 3 miles away, in the penthouse office of Meridian Technologies, Alexander Reed's phone buzzed. The 42-year-old CEO glanced at the notification, expecting another update from his executive team about the pending merger. Instead, he found himself staring at a message clearly not meant for him. Alexander frowned, running a hand through his salt and pepper hair. He rarely used this personal number, a select few even had it. This was obviously a wrong number, yet something about the raw desperation in those few lines made him pause before dismissing it. Emma's phone pinged with a response that made her heart stop. I think you have the wrong number. I'm not James. Horror washed over her as she checked the number. She had mistyped the last digit of her brother's new phone number. I'm so sorry, she typed back quickly. Please ignore that. Wrong number. She tossed her phone aside, mortification burning through her exhaustion. Another failure in a long string of them. Alexander couldn't explain why he didn't simply acknowledge her apology and move on. Perhaps it was the mention of a baby, or maybe it was just the welcome distraction from the cutthroat negotiations that had consumed his life for months. Is your baby going to be okay? He typed, surprising himself. When Emma saw the response, she blinked in confusion. Why would a stranger care? Her first instinct was caution. She'd heard plenty of stories about predators online, but exhaustion and desperation weakened her usual defenses. We'll manage, she replied curtly. Sorry to bother you. I could help, came the immediate response. No strings attached. Emma snorted. In her experience, there were always strings. Thanks, but I don't take money from strangers, she wrote back. Smart policy, Alexander replied. He hesitated, then added, I'm Alex. Now I'm not a stranger. What formula does your baby need? Emma stared at the message, torn between suspicion and a flicker of hope. Why would you help someone you don't know? In his office, Alexander looked out over the city skyline. Why, indeed, his assistant would say he was procrastinating on reviewing the merger documents. His ex-wife would say he was having another impulsive moment. Both would be partially right. Let's just say I've been fortunate, and I remember when I wasn't, he replied. It wasn't the whole truth, but it wasn't a lie either. Emma's exhaustion clouded her judgment. She hadn't slept more than 3 consecutive hours in days. The formula was En Famille Gentlis. Lily had colic, and it was the only brand that didn't make her scream for hours. It was also the most expensive one on the shelf. I don't feel right about this, she typed. What's your Venmo? Alexander asked. Emma hesitated, then sent her username. What did she have to lose? She could always block this person if things got weird. Seconds later, her phone buzzed with a notification. Emma gasped. This Alex hadn't sent $40. He'd sent $400. This is too much, she typed frantically. I can't accept this. Consider it an advance for the next few months, Alexander replied. One less thing to worry about. Tears sprang to Emma's eyes, blurring her vision. She hadn't cried when she'd been laid off from the accounting firm 2 months ago. She hadn't cried when James, her only remaining family, had moved across the country for work, leaving her without her safety net. She hadn't even cried when her landlord had slipped the late notice under her door yesterday, but this unexpected kindness from a complete stranger broke something loose inside her. Thank you, she typed simply, unable to find words adequate for her gratitude. You're welcome, Emma, Alexander replied. Take care of Lily. It wasn't until hours later, as Emma returned from the store with formula and groceries, that she realized something that made her blood run cold. She had never mentioned her daughter's name to this stranger. The next morning, Emma woke to another message from the mysterious Alex. Hope you and Lily had a better night. I have a proposition for you. Emma's guard immediately went up. Here it comes, she thought bitterly, the strings. What kind of proposition? She asked warily. Professional, not personal, came the swift reply. I run a company called Meridian Technologies. We need someone with accounting skills for a short-term project. Your brother James mentioned you were looking for work. Emma nearly dropped her phone. How do you know my brother? How do you know I'm an accountant? Her heart raced as she checked her social media profiles, all set to private. Who was this person? I apologize for the intrusion, Alexander wrote. After our conversation, I was curious. Your number is very similar to James Connors, who works in my HR department. When I mentioned the wrong number text to him this morning, he realized who you must be. He speaks very highly of your accounting skills. Emma sank onto her couch, relief and wariness battling for dominance. It was a reasonable explanation, but still unsettling. So this was all just a coincidence? Completely, Alexander confirmed, but perhaps a fortunate one for both of us. We genuinely need help with a project reconciling some accounts before a merger. It's a 3-month contract with the possibility of permanent placement. Would you be interested in interviewing? Emma's mind raced. It seemed too perfect, too convenient. Yet her brother did indeed work in HR at some tech company. She'd never paid much attention to the details.